Hello, welcome to Gus McDowell's Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we feature a full mission profile of World War II American carrier operations in May 1942 in the demo version of Task Force Admiral. The full mission profile will cover a number of phases of battle in separate episodes: launch operations, search operations, combat air patrol, strike planning, defensive operations, and recovery operations. Let's start with the mission briefing. Oh 0500 hours, 8th of May 1942. Task Force 17. Somewhere in the Coral Sea. USS Yorktown CV-5 is the flagship of Task Group 17.5, under command of Captain Elliot Buckmaster. The moon still rides high in the early hours of morning. Aircraft of the embarked air squadrons crowd the flight deck. Buckmaster looks out to sea as he sips his morning coffee. He knows that by the end of the day, he will either be a hero or dead. The sun is yet to rise in the east. But the rising sun is out there, in the form of an Imperial Japanese Navy carrier task force. The enemy carrier is screening a Japanese invasion fleet headed to Port Moresby in New Guinea, just north of Australia. A light breeze flutters the stars and stripes. The wind is blowing from the east. In company, the carriers escorting destroyers of Task Unit 17.5.2. USS Morris, DD-417. USS Anderson, DD-411. USS Haman, DD-412. USS Russell, DD-414, and the cruisers and destroyers of Task Group 17.2. USS Minneapolis, CA-36, USS New Orleans, CA-32, USS Astoria, CA-34, USS Chester, CA-27, USS Portland, CA-33, USS Phelps, DD-360, USS Dewey, DD-349, USS Farragut, DD-348, and USS Aylwin, DD-355. The task force is arrayed in a circular formation, with the carrier at the centre. Intercepted radio transmissions overnight have confirmed the enemy is likely to the east. Yorktown's first job is to find the enemy carrier. To do this, it must send out search planes. Buckmaster issues orders for the task force to head directly for the enemy. He intends to close the range to strike first and strike often. The wind is blowing from the east-southeast. And there is scattered cloud cover. Yorktown's CXAM radar has a range of around 100 kilometres, which gives about 20 minutes warning of an inbound strike. Five scouts will be sent out to patrol at 13,000 feet out to 400 kilometres, taking off from 0600 hours. Yorktown will also put up a single aircraft combat air patrol east of the task force to counter any snoopers. The carrier ploughs through a silent sea. Below decks is a hive of activity. Hungry sailors eat breakfast, others manning duty stations and working on preparing the aircraft. In the wardroom, the pilots feign nonchalance, but they know that this breakfast might be their last. Zero 5:54 hours and the aircraft start to spot on deck. On the flight deck, crew manhandle the aircraft rearwards to the stern. They are making room forward for the scouts and fighter to take off. All aircraft not assigned to a mission or below decks are moved to the rear. Task Force 17 is heading into the wind to commence air operations. While the flight deck is crowded, more aircraft wait in the hangars below. Fighters and torpedo bombers. As the moon slips below the horizon, the final aircraft move into place. On the air plot, white is unassigned, blue is under preparation, and green is mission ready. Atop Yorktown is a modern CXAM radar made by the Radio Corporation of America. Installed less than a year ago, in August 1940, it is one of only 6 of these radar systems deployed on a US Navy vessel. Operating in the mid-high VHF range at 200 MHz, it can detect single aircraft at 50 miles and large ships at 14 miles. The forward hangar brings out the last of the scout aircraft. Crews sit in their aircraft, conducting final pre-flight checks. At a signal, engines on. First to take off is Lieutenant Short. Wheels up. Banks to port. The final aircraft takes off. and begins its climb to 13,000 feet. Search planes from Able, USS Yorktown, are airborne and underway. Next, a single Grumman F4F Wildcat for the Combat Air Patrol. The pilot, Lieutenant Fenton, leaves the canopy open in case he needs to ditch on takeoff. The fighter from Cap Gore 1 is airborne and underway. Task Force 17 has ceased air operations and is resuming its original course. Lieutenant Short in the first scout. He is flying a Douglas SBD-3 Dauntless. Its right cyclone engine generates 1200 horsepower, allowing the aircraft a cruise speed of 185 miles per hour, nearly 300 kilometers an hour. The pilot is taking careful note of his bearings and distances and timings. There are no landmarks in overwater navigation. Less than 10 minutes since takeoff, the search aircraft fan out from Yorktown to their assigned patrol positions. They slip out of radar detection range. It is a big ocean. Yorktown will not hear from them again until they sight the enemy or return to the carrier. An inbound aircraft detected. It is the Combat Air Patrol. But it gives the task force useful practice in detecting, tracking and reporting inbound air contacts, keeping the radar operators and air observers on their toes. Fenton's F4F maintains its patrol station east of the task force. He scans the skies for enemy scouts. Below him, the task force. Forward right of the task force is USS Anderson, DD-411. Displacing over 1,500 tons and capable of steaming at 35 knots, this Sims-class destroyer has single-mount 5-inch guns, as well as 50 caliber machine guns, 2 quadruple mounts for 21-inch torpedoes, and depth charges on the rails at the stern. She has had a busy war in both the Atlantic and Pacific so far, and it is about to get busier. In this episode, as Yorktown prepares for battle, we have covered launch operations. Task Force 17 launched search planes to the east, and a single F4F Wildcat as a combat air patrol against enemy scouts. In the next episode, we will conduct combat air patrols. In later episodes, search operations, strike planning, defensive operations, and recovery operations. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.